Okay, you said 17 seconds. How many seconds? 17 seconds ago. You should be done. It's still on 17 seconds.
It's gonna be on that probably for the rest of the show.
Yeah, most likely. Oh, it takes forever. You still have 17 seconds left to go. Guess we know the title of this episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Maggart from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And we are getting started with a whole wide gamut of topics. We have 18 topics to cover today, so let's go ahead and start with our first one, which is the Idiot Award.
Was this my Idiot Award or yours? I can't remember. I thought it was
it
mine.
was yours.
Yeah, let me go back through our text real quick because that's where we send... Oh, yeah! Actually, I have another one to add to the Idiot Award list, too. So, here... both of which are on the same video. It's my airport time capsule video. Someone just commented, stupidly long, talk but no walk. Yeah.
It's an airport. I mean, you kind of really can only talk and not walk.
It's like, did I not mention that I was actively... Oh yeah, it's on display right here. Did I not mention I was actively using this thing?
Yeah, you clearly did. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody who's doing a lot of talking without walking, how about I didn't even realize in my latest YouTube video when I made it that bedtime feature still exists in iOS today.
Yeah.
It's called Sleep Over Wake Up. That was my bad on my latest YouTube video, or else when you see my YouTube video that releases tomorrow, that's really all talking to walk, because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing meme numbers like 41, 67, 69. I'm doing that with different generations of Apple devices. So like I'll show an iPhone 6 and an iPhone 7 together. And the idea is to say those meme numbers so much to the point where we'll hopefully flush those memes down the skibbity toilet.
Yes. All right. So here's the other one that I got about 4 hours ago. It just came in. So, all right. I just had to comment. WTF is the big deal about this?
You explained.
Did I not just point it out? Most routers these days have a USB port to which you can connect an external SSD to. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't realize that those USB ports are not particularly fast ones. So, it don't matter if you have an SSD or not. But I digress. Much easier. Do you think average Joes actually know that that's a thing?
Average Joes know what? That plugging in an SSD is easy?
No, that you can plug an SSD into your Wi-Fi router with a USB port. Like, can I flip this around? I don't think it's going to be... No,
yeah, most
don't.
don't.
Well on camera, but under the 3 Ethernet ports here, there's actually a USB port on this thing. So you can plug in an external drive if you wanted to. And that's a thing on most routers. But, I mean, most people have no idea that's even a thing. And there's actually a bit of a downside to doing that. It opens up that entire drive to basically the whole world. Oh, yeah, there. You can showcase it. Yeah, there's a USB port right there.
On both my airport routers, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm a tech enthusiast.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd argue most tech enthusiasts don't know that's a thing.
Well, now I know that's a thing, so... I'll have to do some experimentation.
Yeah. But, I mean, also at the same time, I don't know about how security works through the USB port thing. I don't know how you configure, this drive is, like, not able to access the internet, for example. So. It's just, at the same, it's like, no, it's, okay, that method of you plug in a hard drive into the USB port on a router, It's like, okay, then how do you configure that? Because I guarantee you most people have no idea how to set up their Wi-Fi routers.
There's a reason
Most
why
of the time what
oftentimes
they end up
ISPs do
doing...
that.
Yeah, most of the time when an average Joe sets up a Wi-Fi router, there's a QR code that takes them to a quick app setup screen, and all it does is basically allows them to create an account if they don't already have one, and then create the Wi-Fi network and set up the password, and that's effectively it.
Yep.
I should know this because despite how much I hate working with the networking, I've had to help a few family members set up their Wi-Fi routers when they get internet upgrades. And yeah, it's basically the same. You scan the QR code on the pamphlet that comes in the box. You log into your account if you already have one. If you don't, then just create a new one. And then you create your Wi-Fi network and password, and that's basically it. There is no mention of, oh, hey, you can plug in an external hard drive into the USB port, and then boom, you have a little mini NAS. Ain't that cool? Most people don't know how to do that. Meanwhile, this thing, during the setup process of this thing, it does mention the hard drive, and it actually makes it very easy to configure. Versus if you wanted to do a solution like that and not expose your hard drive to basically the entire world, because, I mean, if you just plug in a hard drive and not do any security setup, well, I would think that would also enable the general internet access to that hard drive and not just any device on your local network. So, it's still more setup involved. The point of this is it's basically your own personal home cloud, and it's not a pain in the tush to set up. It is really easy.
Exactly.
So that's the big deal of this thing. So, yeah, I find it surprising, like, there's a bunch of people just saying, like, what the heck is this thing supposed to be for? And it's like, I just pointed it out. And it's like, I wish that this segment existed more, because this literally makes home cloud storage easy. But I digress.
The problem was that was just a little
I
bit
think
too
my thing's done.
early. And then they killed.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Alpha is updating. I'll let you explain.
Yeah, I got one of my iMacs on the table here. I'm getting it updated from El Capitan to High Sierra.
Ah.
And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm assuming that the people that I sell this to is not going to be super tech savvy. And as a result, I want to try to get it on the latest version it natively supports. So that way there's not too much broken compatibility.
Makes sense.
So that's why I'm updating it to High Sierra. Although, stupidly, I made a mistake with one of them, and now there's no operating system on it, and it's not installing High Sierra for whatever reason. So I got to figure out how to get an operating system on that. Probably just try to recover El Capitan if I can, because this is becoming a royal pain in the tush. Okay, you've said 17 seconds. How many seconds? 17 seconds ago. You should be done. Still says 17 seconds.
It's gonna probably say that for many minutes.
Yeah, the time remaining timer estimation thing that all Macs have is never really all that accurate.
Even no, it kept saying less than a minute. When I was updating my 2013 MacBook Air from which I'll grab. When I was updating my 2013 MacBook Air from macOS Catalina, the official version of Big Sur back in November 2020, it said less than a minute remaining for like 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah. Oh well, I thought it was ready, but I guess not. I'll give it its quote-unquote 17 more seconds.
Oh, well, wonder if it'll be ready by the end of the show. Actually, Pearl will be, but...
Yeah. Yeah, that's the second one that's getting its operating system installed. There's one more that still has El Capitan on it, and I gotta go through that update process. And then after that, I gotta figure out how the heck I'm supposed to get High Sierra on that blank hard drive, because it is not working. I even tried pulling out my... the old 2011 MacBook that natively supports it and tried to do recovery through that. It didn't want to do it. I don't know why.
Is your 2011 iMac, does that have... Or is the blank one, is it the cracked one?
No, it's the one with 8 gigs of memory, actually.
Darn it!
I'm thinking of swapping the hard drives, though, so that way I can get that one out, too, because the cracked one's going to stay for a while because I still have yet to source a display for it.
That makes sense, but in our news, shall we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, I'd say so. What is the next topic?
So apparently the iPhone 16e is not selling well.
I wonder if... I mean, I asked this initially when I made my video about the 16e. Did they price it just a little too high? And I admitted I don't know. I still think it's overall a good phone.
Same.
But I wasn't sure on the price. And I said the market's going to have to play out. And we're going to have to see how this goes. And yeah, I guess the market has kind of conceded it's just a little too expensive.
I mean, I've seen a few of them out in the wild, but not that many. But I think the problem is the iPhone 16e is it's placed in the middle of a... There are two main pricing sectors for smartphones right now. There's the high end, which is like $800 and up, and then there's the lower end, which is usually $400 and down. And the Pro, and there's not that many people that buy phones in the mid range, from what I can tell. So as a result,
yeah, I've been noticing that too.
So as a result, the iPhone 16e is just not really selling that well. And again, as we mentioned in the last episode, maybe if they didn't put an OLED display in it, maybe if they used an LCD and knocked its price down by $500, then it could sell better. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised at this point. It's just I don't know. I said, oh yeah, this is what I said. It was going to get a price increase. Due to the feature set that Apple gave that phone, it was guaranteed a price increase. It's just the question was it too much? Because, I mean, we know why. Single camera lens, there's a few other compromises they made with it. But ultimately, yeah, the question was, did they increase the price too much? It was going to increase, and I was okay with it increasing given just how much more that phone offered over the typical SE. But they might have increased the price too much.
Yeah, because especially with storage upgrades, it's getting a lot closer to the iPhone 17.
Yeah, so I can understand why it's not selling all that great. I mean, mid-range phones in general have not necessarily had the greatest sales as of late. So, but yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, same. Because I personally recommend the iPhone 16. Most people I know, but that's just me. But I ain't gonna butcher that topic to death. So this is a topic that I was debating whether or not to add last week, but I didn't. But this topic is trending enough now that I figured I would add it, which is that iOS, iPadOS, and macOS 26.1, their biggest feature is that they have a control. You can control liquid glass tint to be transparent or frosted like in the old days.
Can you believe that
So
some people are actually extremely mad about that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I ultimately don't really care all that much because, I mean...
Who thinks about that too much? Who seriously cares about that?
I mean, that's the thing, too. I mean, even though I'm a tech enthusiast, and I care about... I mean, I've cared about design a lot, but I've also said, like, what's the problem with choice? If you like it one way, great. If you like it another, great. As long as they give you the option to toggle between the two to match your preference, you know what?
Which they did.
That's fine. And Apple allows that.
It's a win between both ways, so I don't understand why they're complaining about that. And I mean, I like liquid glass in my iPhone 17 Pro, but I understand that not everybody does. So so it's fine if you don't necessarily want that, but I mean, yeah, it's just...
Yeah, I just find it strange how some people are mad that you have the choice to tailor the design to a little more your taste. I mean, personally, I left most of the transparent stuff on. Like, I didn't frost the glass over because, I mean, I thought that their initial design they showcased at WWDC, it had a problem. It had an obvious problem in that it became a bit messy and it was a little hard to read. But after the official release of iOS 26 with liquid glass, they've since changed various elements to make sure that it's still actually readable. And at that point, I really didn't have any complaints with
Same.
the glass elements. But nonetheless, some people are still going to complain, oh, I miss the old design. Why did they just keep it the way it was? And then they give you the option. It's like, oh, I hate that they brought it back. Why didn't they just keep it the way it was?
Yeah, I mean, even my home screen layout on my iPhone is still... I mean, it's not exactly the same as any of the old iOS versions defaults, but it's relatively similar to the iOS 9 default home screen layout. I mean, I don't even have any widgets on mine, and on the second page, I just have everything organized into folders. That's how little I think about my home screen layout.
Well, I have two different home screen setups because I use the focus modes thing, and my normal mode is the one that you typically see on camera. It's featuring the DaVinci wallpaper along with 2 pages of icons, and then the rest is in the app library. And then you guys don't see this basically at all because this is what I have for my home screen at work. So I'm going to engage it here. So it's basically the normal default iOS that year's wallpaper. It's this one page of utilities that I use. So the specific app I use for counting my hours, email, a couple entertainment apps like a podcast and music, nothing visual, Safari and a few other handy tools, and then the rest is the app library. And so... yeah, I actually have 2 different home screen layouts for...
I didn't even know you could do that, but settings. I just don't... But because I keep most of my apps tucked away in folders because I don't really think about it, I just have one home screen layout.
Yeah. No, yeah, you can link it to you can link specific home screen pages. The way it works is if I go into jiggle mode... that's what it is. Go into jiggle mode and I view all of my pages. You'll find here in jiggle mode, here's the first 2 pages that I use on the typical home screen layout. And then unchecked right here is my work page. And in the work focus, I can have it only display that one page right here. And it doesn't showcase those pages. If I recall, that was a feature brought to iOS
15. Focus was iOS 15.
I'm trying to remember if Focus did allow you to set like individual home screens for each Focus. Was that the case?
I don't. On 15, I don't. I know Focus is on iOS 15.
What was the wallpaper for 15? Because
it was the red, orange, and yellow, and dark blue. It was. I'll look up a picture of it and show you.
Yeah.
It was this.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So yeah, it was an iOS 15 thing.
Yeah, I should know when these iOS features came because I just did a video that took me 5 hours on last Friday.
Yeah.
I was recording this about that. It genuinely took me 5 hours to film and edit that video.
Well, so far I'm on day 3 of this whole iMac project. A lot of it is just waiting for parts to come in. So it's still on 17 seconds.
It's gonna be on that probably for the rest of the show.
Yeah, most likely. Oh, it takes forever. Okay.
Again, you know what upgrade would help with that? I know it's costly, but
yeah, I know an SSD would totally help with that. Although I'm not entirely sure if it's the storage or my internet. It's one or the other.
Your internet. Oh, well. Okay, your internet probably explains it because my 2010 MacBook Pro, which back when it had a hard drive, still did it fast. Still changed operating systems faster than my 2013 MacBook Air.
Yeah, no, my internet sucks something fierce. Although, I should have added this in the list because I heard something interesting about Starlink that came out this week.
Go ahead.
They're now offering cheaper tiers than $120 a month.
Will your family get that?
I have to discuss it with them first. I plan on...
Oh, I said Stardust.
Yeah, you typed Stardust instead of Starlink. So, but yeah, they have a new $40 month tier. And even though it's a significantly downgraded performance to what their top tier is, 100 megabits a second is like 100 times faster than what we currently have.
That's pretty good.
And that's for $40 a month. So, yeah, I am 100% bringing this up with my parents, and if they refuse to get it, then I don't know. Maybe I might get an internet upgrade myself, because I don't know what my internet connection is going to look like in the coming months, due to certain events that the internet is still not allowed to know just yet.
Yeah.
So, nonetheless, I mean, 100 meg is probably still not enough to do live streaming, my guess at least, but 100 meg is a hell of a lot better than 1 meg. That
how much? How fast does your internet work?
Oh, we're on fiber, so
it's gigabits.
Yeah, it's probably closer to like 10 gig or something. It's the same connection the university has, and the university gets priority. So, it is like real, legit, high-speed internet.
That's cool, but shall we move on to our next topic about Apple?
Yeah, let's bring it back to Apple. So there's a jailbreak tweak.
On iOS
What?
17 that brings... So, let me grab my iPhone 14 Pro for reference. But there's a jailbreak tweak on iOS 17 that's in development that lets you that is letting you use the mute switch to do the same functions as the action button.
Huh. Cool.
On your iPhone, similar to how a little X and R jailbreak tweaks like that let you enable iPhone 10 gestures on older iPhones, which Apple never lets you do by default for some reason.
And yet their iPads had it built into iOS 12.
Yeah, that drove me nuts because I'm like, yeah, why can't I just get this? Why can't if you let people use these gestures, you wouldn't be so afraid to upgrade to non-home button iPhones, and also it'll help discourage people from jailbreaking their iPhones because jailbreaking, one of the main features that reasons why people jailbroke in iOS 11 and 12 was to get iPhone 10 gestures on their older iPhones.
Yeah. No, yeah. After Apple showcased the gesture system with the iPhone 10, that's like... I mean, the feeling is still the case today, even. It's like, using gestures to do all of your... It's like, this is the way we should have been using our phones from the beginning. That's how, number one, intuitive it is. Yeah, it's just, it's so intuitive the way they did it. It's just, that's how we should have been using our phones from the beginning.
I mean, iPads had gestures from iOS 5, so I don't understand why iPhones didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy how for so long, until 2017, we've been living in... you have to have a home button of some sort, be it a physical one on the phone, or it's going to be an on-screen one that's always robbing space and could be used for something else. But nope, there has to be a home button there. And then Apple introduced the gesture system, and they made it work so darn well. Everyone else was racing to copy it.
That makes sense, because that was one of the things that Apple did best. But yeah, bringing the action button unsupported devices game back on that. I mean, this reminds me of back when Alpha said that you could have just made the mute switch do other things, and
yeah,
that just proves that.
This literally proves my point that you can have a switch more than just a ringer. I mean, a lot of the functions that the action button has does not have to be limited to the physical form of a button. It can be done with the switch, like the flashlight, for example. Switch on, switch off.
Just like an old school flashlight, which...
Yeah, just like
actually,
almost any other flashlight you can get.
This one has a... I mean, this one has a button, but...
Yeah.
Same general idea.
Well, I have some that are twist, even. So, yeah, I digress. It's just... You don't need another button. The Switch worked perfectly fine. I still miss having just two volume buttons and a physical switch that's physically different on the side of the iPhone. Because now that it's all three buttons, I'm constantly mispressing buttons, and it's still annoying. And yes, I am still doing it to this day. This is not intuitive.
I'm not mispressing buttons, but I understand totally where you're coming from, since I don't really feel for my phone's buttons, but I also don't use volume buttons that often, so...
Yeah, nonetheless, I'm happy that this jailbreak is basically proving we don't need three buttons on the side of the phone. We can still use two buttons and a physical switch.
Exactly, but... Shall I move on to WhatsApp? Argument.
Okay.
WhatsApp now finally has an Apple Watch app.
Cool.
What took them so long? Yeah, but I mean, seriously, what took them so long?
I ask myself the same thing about so many other apps. I mean, now that I downloaded Facebook and I'm browsing Facebook Marketplace for various deals and listing stuff, even that app doesn't feel like it's optimized for the iPad.
I mean, Instagram just got a proper iPad app earlier this year. And Instagram released in 2010, and Instagram released in 2010.
I mean, iPads have been a thing for like 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
And it took one of the largest companies in the world to... How long to add proper iPadOS support for their apps?
I mean, to be fair, it took Apple 14 years to add a calculator.
Okay, yeah, true.
That they should have... People should have criticized the iPad for not having a calculator from the very beginning.
Oh, if they did, I mean, we did.
I mean, I don't know how many people criticized the iPad for not having a calculator in 2010.
Yeah, it is so weird that Android tablets have had calculators for years, and yet the iPad didn't.
I mean, even I liked how my Kindle Fire had a calculator built in.
No,
and I remember
switch devices. Don't switch. Sorry, Discord's doing something weird. That's all.
That's fine, but even my grandmother, when she got her iPad 10th generation for her birthday, that was back in July 2024, so it was right before iPadOS 18 released, and the first question, and so it was on iPadOS 17, and she asked me where the calculator was, and I had to, and then in one of my classes back in 8th grade, which was when we were working on one of our final projects in April or May of 2023, and my my teacher just told us, oh yeah, you can just use the calculator on your iPad. Only one problem.
There isn't one.
I mean, no wonder. I mean, to be fair, there was actually one episode of TIFP a ways back titled, "So That's Why iPads Don't Have Calculators, because schools buy them because they don't have calculators."
Yeah.
But now they do have calculators, and to be honest, I have a bit of a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
Now that iPads don't even now iPads have calculators, whenever I'm doing math homework, because oftentimes I'm doing more complex math, the built-in calculator app just isn't the most optimized for. I do use Desmos. Alongside my iPad 9th generation's keyboard to do that work. So yeah, to do a lot of
Well, also, I found in general, getting the graphing function to work with the calculator is a little unorthodox. It's like you gotta physically write out the equation, and then you also have to hope that it recognizes you write out the equation.
Yeah, so yeah, in Desmos, all you have to do is just type like y equals whatever, and then bam, you're good to go. As long as it's something valid. If you have to understand math in order to know how to properly use a graphing calculator.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. When I was in college, like this was when the iPad's calculator app just came out too, and no, I learned real quickly. I tried using the graphing utility just to check my work. It was so bad at recognizing when I write y equals whatever the equation was, and it's just, and then also it didn't seem to recognize when you wrote it in any other format other than y equals. It really wanted y equals something.
I mean, in Desmos, you don't have to have y equals as long as it's valid.
Yeah. Because I tried to do like a circle, for example, which that is the equivalent of x squared plus y squared. I'm
gonna have I'm likely gonna have calculus next year, so.
But no, yeah, I learned that the iPad calculator's a graphing function really wants y equals.
I mean, I don't even have to do y equals in Desmos because I can just use x, because I can just like type, as long as it has x and y X or Y. As long as it has X in the equation, I can graph most stuff without a problem. And I'm in Algebra 2 right now for reference, so we haven't had to do much more than that. And if we have to do more than that, then I just use it.
Have you tried using the Grapher app in macOS by chance?
I have, actually. I have it. Okay. Most of the time when I'm doing my homework, it's when I'm actually doing it at school, so I don't have my Mac on me to try it out.
Ah, fair enough.
So that, but I tried it out like once, and it worked all right. But you have to know how to use it. And the problem is that my school they only train you how to use Texas Instruments calculators.
Yeah, I usually ended up using the graphing utility on my Mac because, well, when your internet was not as reliable as it used to be, you have to resort to offline methods, and Desmos is not very offline.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
So, no, yeah, even though it was around 4th grade when the doing everything online started to become the rage when I was in school. And it's just I mean, I initially thought it was cool given that I was a tech enthusiast even back then, maybe not as strong as I am today, but it's just I thought it was cool. But then ultimately when I learned there are 3 things that are required to do all of this stuff. One, you need a Gmail account, you need a computer, and well, yeah, I had the Gmail account because the school issued one. I had the computer, one at home, and then the Chromebooks at school, obviously. But then the final item that it seemed like no organization bothered to think about and just assumed you had: reliable internet. And it drove us so mad that the school assumed you had a reliable internet connection. Because especially back then, unless you actually had a fiber connection, you lived in town and you had a fiber connection, reliable internet simply did not exist. And for them to act like that, oh, everybody has reliable internet, it's just absolutely infuriating. And as a result, most of the time, I still had to request getting on a Windows computer so I can use Microsoft Word and do it offline at school and do the old school jump drive method. Which, they were so happy about that because, apparently there's a thing where students will download viruses on the jump drives and then insert them into the school computers and break them that way. And it's like, I'm sorry, but this is the only reliable method I have to do my work digitally, which is what you guys insist on me doing. Because if you want me to use the other method, the method you prefer, which involves the internet connection, well, guess what? I'm going to be constantly requesting extensions left and right due to the fact that I don't have reliable internet. And it is so annoying that they assume that you do.
Exactly. So when I was in kindergarten, so I started kindergarten in 2014 for reference, and when I was in kindergarten, 1st grade, we had my old elementary school until 3rd grade when we got Chromebooks. We had every classroom had a few desktops they could use to go online for various services, but you would only go on like a couple websites like Myon, which was for reading audiobooks, and then Starfall, which was like some sort of education site, and then but even when I was in kindergarten back then, now, one of the assignments was to read books on Myon every day. Now, did I do that in kindergarten? Most of the time, no, because I was a little kid. I didn't know any better. But I mean, still, they assumed that they had reliable internet then. But later on, they eventually, after kindergarten, they adapted to that to the point where in 1st grade, if we had to read for homework, we just had to we often had to bring home physical books. That wasn't it. we never had to do any homework online in first grade, and then second grade was kind of the same deal. And then third grade back in 2017, that was the year at my school got Chromebooks, and each student was assigned one, and I thought that was pretty cool because I mean the Chromebooks, they were still neat little things, and we had them for quite a while. And then when I was in sixth and seventh grade, for me, I was homeschooled then, so in sixth grade I just did because I was homeschooled through my native school district. As a result, I just did basic. I just used Google Classroom, Google Docs, and all that, because we started using Google Classroom when I was in third grade. And then when I was in seventh grade, because I did it through a different older program, as a result, I still had to, first of all, I had to pay for my mom got Office through her job, so I had to link it to all that. Mm-hmm. This is back when I was using, because they insisted that you had Office for that. And this is back when I only had a PC, so yeah. But I had to do basically all that. And then in eighth grade, once I returned back, we went back to the same type of policy, except when I was in middle school, like, they would have Chromebook cards that I could get, that they would have run out sometimes. And all my schools had iPads, and there were computer labs at my school, even in elementary school. And then in ninth grade, that was when we got our school issued iPads. But all the math classes, except for one of the teachers, they assign their work online, because that's what the district makes us do. Which, mind you, granted, where I live, I get good internet, and my area gets better internet generally than you do, obviously, but it's still not great internet. And I also have the method that I live in a very low income area. I mean, it's not as low as some places, but I do still live in a low income area, so.
Which is funny, based off of what you and your parents drive.
I mean, yeah,
most of my classmates low income.
most of my classmates think I'm rich, for reference. It is genuinely a very, it's a low income area.
I mean, some people assume the same for me because I drive a really nice Buick. But nope, I'm not that rich. Oh my gosh, how do you still have 17 seconds left to go? Guess we know the title of this episode.
Maybe, but that's beside the point of school assuming we have internet. But shall we get on to our next actual scheduled topic?
Yes, apparently Meta is still in the news.
School internet. I'm just adding the schools requiring internet for homework to our topics list, so that way I know we talked about that for the description. But yeah, so Meta predicted that 10% of its projected revenue in 2024, back at the beginning of 2024, they predicted that would come from scam ads and ads for illegal products. They predicted that 10% of the revenue would come from that. And they show 15 billion scam ads per day, and they only ban all advertisers if the automated system predicts marketers 95% certain to be committing fraud, and any percentages below just get charged extra. So they effectively get charged extra to scam.
So
they should be sued to oblivion. That's enough cause to possibly make Meta shut down.
How are they not being sued over that? Because if I was in law enforcement right now, I would be beginning an investigation immediately the second I heard that.
Maybe we should go into law enforcement.
What the hell?
That's such obvious fraud.
Do we need the John Prosser expression again? The John Prosser question?
On a scale of 1 to all of them, how many drugs are they on? Smoking.
I think we know the answer. It's all of them.
Yeah, because if it's not... Yeah, because you can't pay... You can't do the... This is such a... Even
it's not only immoral, it's just, I don't know, it sounds a little... just a crazy theory here, but it's sounding a little, I don't know, illegal, perhaps?
Yeah, because, I mean, okay, this is here's an analogy. Let's say somebody gives you a bunch of stolen... Let's say somebody gives you a bunch of stolen jewelry for you to sell, and you advertise it and sell it, and you know it's stolen. Even though you didn't do the breaking in and stealing, is it still a crime for you to sell jewelry that you know was stolen?
Yes. Very much so.
That's effectively what Meta's doing, so... And given how much money people have lost to these scams...
That's just sad. On so many... They are literally admitting, hey guys, we're breaking the law!
How stupid, but... Shall I move on to our next topic involving Elon Musk?
I thought we talked about this last week, but maybe... I don't know.
No, we didn't, but Elon Musk wants to build a massive chip fab to take on TSMC. We were talking about Samsung taking on TSMC, but now...
Samsung! Okay, that makes
now
sense.
Now Elon Musk wants to get into that business, which, I mean, hey, more competition for TSMC equals better chip makers, since the problem is that TSMC is developing a bit of a monopoly, so... Hey, I'm for more competition. Mind you, from 3 different countries, technically, because Samsung's based in South Korea, TSMC's in Taiwan, and Elon Musk's going to conduct his business from the U.S.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this at the moment, because I've been having a lot of frustration growing surrounding the attention that Elon gets. So... part of me is like, oh my goodness, a lot more people are going to be like, oh yay, Elon's saving the chip-making industry here in America. And it's like...
I mean, it's not necessarily that, but at the same time, it's something at least to help the chip industry.
I mean, they've had some... I mean, Tesla's had some silicon designs themselves. Like, if I recall, they design the computers for FSD. So they know a thing or two about silicon design.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense.
It makes a little sense.
And they also need it for their other companies too, like Neuralink, SpaceX. They need to make chips for their computers to at least use their own companies. So it makes sense for them to make the chips to better optimize for that.
I mean, Tesla in particular really loves their vertical integration, and if they could vertically integrate the manufacturing of the chips for all of their computer systems, then yeah, I could totally see them actually doing this.
And also, this could result in, and this could also result, and yeah, it's just good. This is good business overall, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes, but yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say on that, at least.
So, shall we move on to IKEA?
Sure. What's IKEA doing or not doing this time around?
So IKEA... Oh no. I know what that sound means.
The previous iMac that I installed the operating system on did the exact same thing. I'm wondering if it's a BIOS thing.
It is, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the BIOS update screen.
Oh, that tone reminds me of Deaf personally.
Yeah, that's what I thought too initially. I'm like, when I did it the first time, I'm like, oh crap, did I just brick this drive too? But no, it was just doing a BIOS update.
Macs also make that similar sound when RAM runs out. But getting aside, that's aside the point. Getting back onto our actual antenna topic, IKEA has a new line of 21 smart home products, including lights, sensors, and remotes, with Thread and Matter support. Makes sense for them to get in the. Makes sense for them, given that they're a furniture company that sells.
Yeah, considering that they're a furniture company, typically found in the home space, I guess I'm not too shocked about getting into more categories on that. And as long as it's...
They've done it before, too, so...
Yeah. I mean, as long as the stuff is Matter supported, too, because that's the universal smart home standard for all smart home systems.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why I bought my smart bulbs. It's because they were Matter supported. So it didn't matter if I'm using Apple devices today or if Apple does something in the future that really... makes me mad and upset, then I can use whatever smart home service I want.
Exactly, but that's pretty cool, I guess. But shall we move on to our next topic involving Epic Games and Google?
Yes. How is Epic looking to screw over the giant conglomerates again this time?
So Epic Games and Google have reached a settlement where Google will no longer make exclusivity agreements with developers, and they will also allow third-party payment methods.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not too shocked considering what they did with Apple, so it's like...
Yeah.
Wow. There's no surprise in that. Really isn't.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. Overall... Yeah, we've already gone to that in so many episodes, but shall I move on to Fairphone?
Ooh. Okay.
So Fairphone is going to start selling their earbuds XL in the U.S. later this month, and they've had 61% revenue growth compared to quarter 3 of 2024 in this latest quarter.
Interesting. Because to me, this is just one of those phone brands you just forget.
Yeah. I mean, they do make Fairphone does make stuff for the European market, so it makes sense. And it makes sense that they're selling their earbuds, Fairbuds XL in the US later this month, since this is another trend that I see constantly in my school that I don't get, is that everybody at my school is now using wireless headphones.
As in, like, over ears like mine?
Yeah.
AirPods Max? Or
Yeah. I mean, not AirPods Max, cheaper ones, obviously, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just talking, like, style, because there's this, and then you got earbuds.
Yeah, like I'm noticing more of those headphones.
I mean, on one hand, especially, in your age group, I wouldn't be expecting this, but especially if for younger age groups, earbuds are a bit difficult. I had such a difficult time with earbuds that I just prefer over-ear headphones, and I wonder if that's just the case. People growing up, they're used to over-ears like this, and they don't want to use earbuds, which it's a choice, it's a preference. I mean, even I still prefer over-ears, if I'm being honest.
I personally hate over-ear headphones, and I personally prefer using earbuds because, number one, they're more portable, but also, unless you're a sound enthusiast, you don't really need anything more. But my third point is that, so when I was in when I was in the elementary school and we would have to go in a computer lab and we would have to read audiobooks, they would give us those cheap headphones and we had to buy them, and I don't know, you probably can't tell us this closely, but I have kind of the hair, so
yep.
The headphones constantly got stuck in my hair, and that hurt like crazy. Yeah. And then just the weight of having down my ears, like I tried using Beats Solo 3 because my ears are very sensitive to earbuds, but my ears just don't like headphones.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, most of the cheap earphones you get are mostly like on ears. These are over ears.
Yeah. These beats are also on ear, but I mean, over ear is better. I'll say that. Like on my AirPods Max don't work, but if I had working AirPods Max, then I mean, I prefer over ear. But for everything I use, and just because it's more convenient, I just prefer using AirPods.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I still use both on a regular basis. For one, I mean, obviously AirPods Pro, I do not have them in my pocket for some odd reason. Oh well. Oh, there they are, hiding behind my iPad. Yeah, AirPods Pro, really nice and convenient to have. They're tiny, easy to travel with, and yeah, they're just convenient. But I still ultimately prefer over ears from both a comfort and a sound quality perspective, because I mean, even though these things do sound amazing as is, I'm sorry, the driver size does make a difference, because it's just exactly, when you got to compact it all into a tiny bud versus this, you can have much larger drivers in this, and you also have more air to work with. So you can get much better sound quality out of over ears. And as I'm an audiophile, I care about sound. But no, you're right. The one thing I will definitely never wear again is those on ears. And especially because I wear glasses. Glasses make on-ear headphones really painful.
Oh, yeah. I can't... Oh, yeah, that would be... I never even thought about that, but yeah, that would be annoying.
Oh. Yeah,
I mean, that's probably why Tim Cook
struggled finding a good set of headphones, and so far I have never felt a more comfortable pair of headphones than these. And
same.
I mean, the next closest one I can think of are the Bose over ears. I don't remember the exact what is it, 700? I don't remember what they name them, but it's a headset that my grandpa has, and those are over ears. And yeah, it's just, you have to do over ear if you're going to do like proper headphones, because the on ears, they are not going to seal your ears just right, so therefore you're going to have the environment sound come in if you don't want it to. And then if you have glasses, it feels so wrong in every sense of the term uncomfortable. It's just, yeah, it's, over ears are the way to go. And for the convenience factor, these are my personal earbuds. Even then, I've always had a hard time with earbuds because I have tiny ears. I mean, specifically tiny ear canals. And it is only Apple's EarPods and AirPods that I have ever gotten to fit comfortably in my ears. That's it.
Same.
I cannot wear any other earbuds.
Semi-comfortably. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
So. But, I don't know. I guess maybe I'll have to try out the Fairbuds, I guess, and see if they sound any good, because I really should do more headphone reviews. I keep advertising myself as an audiophile, and yet I've only reviewed like 4 different audio products. Scratch that, 5, really the HomePod Mini. I
was about to say, didn't you do a review of that? But yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool, but shall we move on to Red Magic?
Sure. Is this another Chinese
the Red Magic
or
11
Indian? I'm trying to remember.
I'm pretty sure it's Chinese. The Red Magic 11 Pro is the first fully liquid-cooled phone. It's a gaming phone.
Oh, yeah, I've heard something about this online. Although, I'd wonder, do you really want to carry that cooler around with you everywhere?
Yeah, that would be... that's not exactly something that I consider important, but hey, you know. And I do video recording, but, you know. Not for me, but maybe it's for someone, a niche market. But do you want to move on to our next topic?
Yeah. I really wish Tabby was here, because this is more of his thing.
Yeah, same. This is something that he could probably talk our ears off about this. But The Valve Steam Machine VR headset is launching.
Oh no, it's 3 products. The Steam Machine, which is a box, their Frame VR headset, and then they have a new like game controller as well.
Oh, did you add this? Did you add this topic?
I did. I must have not worded it right.
No. You didn't put commas in between, so I didn't realize they were separate products.
But no, yeah, it's 3 products.
That's why I use commas.
Yeah. So they got the box, which I'm not too sure whether you're supposed to treat this as a computer, because, I mean, SteamOS is Linux, and you can use it as a Linux machine, last I checked, because you can do this with the Steam Deck. So, I'm not entirely sure if you're supposed to treat this like a computer or a game console, like PlayStation and Xbox.
It's supposed to be both.
Nonetheless, so I personally think it'd make more sense as a console, but that's just me. Then they have apparently it's a more, I guess, Apple Vision Pro-ish attempt at a VR headset. More that style instead of the traditional one where you have trackers placed around the room, because I guess for traditional VR gaming you need to place trackers and receivers around your room to be able to locate where you are, and in order to give you a proper VR experience. But I guess they're trying an approach more similar to Apple Vision Pro, though they still have controllers, I guess.
I mean, the Vision Pro is more seamless to set up. I'll give them credit. So it may, but to be honest, the Frame VR headset is probably the most simple of them all, because it uses controllers but also has proper display and everything. Which, hey, at least it doesn't have the stupid way to navigate a Vision Pro.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Apple may have done real good with the gesture system on the iPhone. They could do better with Vision Pro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to do it.
Yeah, but nonetheless, and then they also came out with a game controller which features something that I'm surprised not really many other controllers have. Even though I'm not much of a gamer, I actually have experience with... I have used an Xbox controller in the past, and one of my cousins has a PS5, so I tried the PlayStation controller. I'm surprised it actually has a function where you blow across it. As weird as that is. But
what is that for?
It was used in the demo game Astro, which is a demonstration game on the PS5.
That's on the PlayStation controller. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, but
I didn't either until my cousin blew across it and it did something. I'm like, okay, maybe not the most sanitary function, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, I guess that's unique. That's pretty interesting. And then I guess Steam came out with Valve's the company. Valve came out with a new controller for Steam, and I guess it features your traditional control pad and ABXY buttons and joysticks, but they also added a couple of trackpads below the joysticks.
That's cool.
So what are they going to use for that? I don't know. In fact, I never really understand why we have all of these different controllers, because it's like these games have to optimize for the hardware that they're on, and when you got extra hardware like that, it's like, what are they going to use it for?
Exactly. Because you have to be able to make your apps easy to optimize in order to have a successful platform, but do you have anything more to say about that, or shall we move on to the curbside EV charger concept?
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about Valve stuff because I'm not really a gamer. I was kind of hoping Tabby would be able to join us because I think he would have more excitement towards this.
Yeah.
But I thought it was at least worth mentioning. So.
Yeah, same. It was totally worth it. So Sean, moving on to our next topic. There's a curbside EV. So there's a curbside EV charger concept in Germany where the cable and such in the display is on the ground or on the curb.
Well, I should have you know on how they handle AC charging in Europe. It's not like how we do things here in America, where it's the exact same as pulling up to a gas station, except instead of a hose with a nozzle on it, it's a charging cable. But in Europe, specifically with AC charging, DC charging, it's the exact same here, just with a different connector. But in Europe, AC charging... Actually, let me grab the cable. I haven't pulled these out in a while. Let's see. Bulbs. And this... There it is. This is a typical charging cable you'd use for AC charging in Europe. And you might notice something.
It has a different connector on the end.
Yeah. So this is the end that... yes, this is the end that goes into the car. And this is what you plug into the station. Because in Europe, on AC chargers, they don't actually have cables on them. You have to bring your own cable.
Oh.
I think the reasoning behind this was to prevent potential vandalism. That's my guess. But, because, well, it's like, what are they going to steal? The box? But the box is secure. The box is completely secured to whatever it's fixed to. But the cables, those can be easily cut and stolen. But this solves that. It makes you in charge of your own cable. And so I don't know if every EV actually comes with one from the factory, but Teslas, I believe, they do include this type of cable when you buy a new Tesla, for example, in Europe. But so the reason why they're doing this concept here is what they're doing is they're putting the box with all of the computer componentry and all of the electrical hookups in general. They're putting that basically in the same concrete curb that every Tesla owner fears because they keep scraping their wheels against them. So yeah, they're putting the connection for your cable on that, along with, I noticed in the image, there's a payment terminal there.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I think it's kind of slick. It's just, there's a couple concerns that I have. Number one, if a puddle forms.
Yeah, that's a big problem because water is not good to get near outlets.
Yeah. So, because most EV charging equipment is rated for dealing with weather and the elements. Like, anyone who fears charging your car out in the rain, it's an illegitimate fear. The connector designs and all of it, it is waterproof. It is designed to be charging out in the rain. So there's that. But the reason why I'm concerned this time is all of those other solutions we have, most of the time your connector holsters are mounted facing out. But the problem is this plug on the box is not facing out sideways. It's facing up.
Which, of course, water could easily get into that.
Yeah. And if you have a deep puddle, the way an EVSE works, I'm worried that it might trick and confuse itself and might accidentally engage charging on that thing, which will fry itself and potentially anyone who stands in it. I don't know. It's just that's the only thing that's making me nervous. It's just the fact that instead of the port being facing out horizontally, it's facing up vertically. That's what my concern is. And otherwise, I typically never worry about charging equipment getting wet and all that because it's usually insulated properly to the point where it doesn't matter if it's wet or not. But I don't know. I have concerns with potential puddling. And then my other concern is people's jeans as they bend over to plug their cables in and pay on the terminals.
What's the problem?
You know the meme where somebody bends over to pick up a coin they dropped and their jeans rips?
Oh.
That. That's why I put in my tweet, I fear for potential puddling issues along with people's jeans.
Yeah.
That last one is just pure satire, but just thought I'd mention it. But no, yeah, I think the concept is it's really plausible because it's small form factor, which means you don't need a lot of space to enable this. It also enables easier wiring too. So. But, yeah, my only question, and I guess this is why it's in a testing phase in Germany, my only question is just, is puddling going to be an issue? Let alone the potential for people ripping their jeans as they bend down to plug in their cables. But, no, yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought I'd mention that, because it'd be nice if us Americans could integrate something like that for curbside charging, since... we don't really have any good charging options for people who don't own their own driveways.
Exactly. Another big problem is that in Europe with the jeans is that in Europe Europeans do wear shorts, not like they don't, but they don't wear shorts in the warmer months nearly as much as Americans do.
Yeah. But even then, you still got the other 6 months out of the year where it's cold and you don't want to wear shorts.
And you also you got people that need to charge their cars while on the job when they're going to be wearing pants anyway.
But yeah, still a cool concept nonetheless. I hope that they can figure this out and make it work, and I hope America can find a way to integrate something similar to this. Because, I mean, I don't know. I think we all could use something similar to this. But that's enough of that topic. What's next?
So, over 400,000 Hondas have been recalled due to wheel issues.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. How do you screw up wheels? Did they accidentally ship 400,000 cars with square wheels or something?
I don't know, but yeah, either way, this just goes to show you how Japanese companies especially seem to be lacking quality control, and this would be an example.
Yeah. I mean, I've still personally found Honda has the best so far.
Yeah,
they are amongst the slowest to update their stuff, and their reliability is the ultimate reason why. Toyota, on the other hand, I mean, they used to have a solid reputation for reliability. It's just for
their
past,
car. Now their cars
for
are
the past
slowed.
few years. Yeah, for the past few years, they've just been having so much trouble with that because, I mean, they've let their trucks go way too long with the... Oh, stop it. No, we're not switching audio sources. Stop it, iMac. So, when it came to the trucks, the problem is they've been using an engine, the same exact engine design for 15 years, and I get the point of if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Problem is that engine was, like, yeah, it had really bad fuel economy, and it was not very competitive. And so I understood, yes, they needed to develop a new one. It's just, it feels like the new one that they came out with to replace their 5.7 liter V8. I don't remember the exact size. It's a V6 it's a hybrid V6 because Toyota loves their hybrids so much. It's just they've executed it so poorly, and it just felt like it was rushed. Because everybody was harping on, the 5.7, it's old and it's thirsty. But, I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, it felt way too rushed. And then the whole Corolla GR thing, they built a car for, to take on the track. And yet they void your warranty for doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Be taken out to have fun on a track.
And it exploded. Oh, and the EVs are, we don't talk about their EVs.
Yeah. Toyota doesn't talk about their EVs because a few obvious reasons. So, no, I've been very disappointed with Toyota's reliability, and it's like, that was the one thing they had going for them. Because I didn't like their tech. I did not like the way their cars drive. And now I don't like that they break all the time, and they seem to be absolutely terrible at getting them fixed. Because they break. So,
in other words, don't buy a Toyota these days.
I legit cannot recommend a Toyota anymore. There's not a single one I can recommend. And if you have to go Japanese because, Japanese reliability, I've always directed people to Honda.
I mean, I don't recommend Japanese cars to people anymore, period. In fact, I don't even recommend American cars to people anymore, except for Tesla. I only recommend Teslas to people, or else if you want to go gas, get a European car.
I can't necessarily do European because parts are generally more expensive.
I meant
Europeans have their own questionable engineering decisions.
But the European, they've always been weird when it comes to engineering, though.
Yeah, that in fairness, that's true.
I mean, and also BMW didn't even start out as a car company, but we don't talk about BMW's origins on this podcast.
Yeah. But, I mean, I still typically recommend Hondas to most people if they're looking for a Japanese car in particular. I do like Hondas. I've been in many of them. They drive okay. I've driven a few Hondas here and there. They drive fairly okay. I am blown away by... It is hard to kill a Honda motor. It is really difficult to actually kill a Honda motor. And that's why they're not always the quickest in terms of updating that stuff. It's because they legit take the time to prove that, yes, this engine is going to last. And so... No, I've always been able to recommend Hondas if anyone is looking for a Japanese car. Because, Honda does make real great products, and this is a bit unfortunate that they let this big of a blunder through quality control. I'm wondering if it's just a wheel design they came out with and the spokes are not working. Do you know the details on what the wheel issue specifically is?
I just put that down, but Honda recall.
Oh, and the iMac finished updating.
Oh, and the wheels may fall off of moving sparks. They might fall off.
Bearings. That's what it is. It's got to be wheel bearings.
So, that's a good reason to recall a car. As you imagine as Honda was basically selling 400,000 Red Foxes.
Or 400,000 Toyota BZ4Xs.
Do BZ4Xs have wheel bearing issues too?
Yes. Yeah, the initial batch, they were constantly having wheels fall off.
So, in other words, they're not only horrible at charging, but they're also horrible at keeping wheels on.
Yeah. No, yeah, the BZ4X was bad. Now, in fairness, Red Fox never had a wheel bearing actually, like, completely bust. It's just, they were worn out. They were so worn out that you did need to replace them, otherwise you were risking the wheel coming off.
Yeah, I had to replace my car's wheel bearings after... I had to get my car's wheel bearings replaced right after I got my driver's license, so...
Yeah, in fact, Stardust might be due for a wheel bearing replacement at some point. I'm starting to pick something up in the suspension.
Oh, good. You get to take it back into a dealer.
Nope, I'm going to do it myself.
Oh, phew.
I've changed 5 out of 4 wheel bearings on Red Fox before. I can change 1 wheel bearing on Stardust.
Okay, yeah, just do that, but...
Anybody notice the fraction I just gave them?
Yeah, it's 100. It's 125%. It's 100. It's 125%. Excuse me, because and is decimal.
Yeah. No, it's just our roads are so rough up here that we lunch wheel bearings. So
that makes sense. But shall we move on to tritium, which is a topic that Alpha added?
Yeah, I added this because I figured you wouldn't know who they are. Yeah, Tritium is a DC charging company. Yeah. Throughout last year, there was a scandal that went on, and the stock dropped so much that Tritium actually had to declare bankruptcy and shut down operation. But supposedly, they're back now. And they are back better than ever, and I guess they're hoping to really up their A game when it comes to producing DC charging equipment, and also that's not the only big deal. It just, they're going to produce more DC charging equipment, period. It's just a lot of the charging hardware we have here in the UP happens to be tritium.
Oh, I remember. So, that's where I remember that from.
Yeah. So the charger that I've showcased in Copper Harbor, that's a tritium unit.
Yeah,
the charger
that's
at
right.
Keweenaw Chev. Yep. The charger at Keweenaw Chev, that's a tritium unit too. The one in Crystal Falls, that's tritium. So yeah, a lot of the DC charging around here, if it's not a Tesla supercharger or a charge point station, then it's typically a tritium station. So, yeah, now we don't have to fear about potential chargers breaking because, while tritium was dead, nobody was making parts to fix the chargers, so you better hope that they never break.
Well, that's really good then, but that's pretty good. But shall we move on to our next topic regarding Marcus Germuntus?
Marcus Germuntus, the Gurmiest of Marcus Gurman.
Also, that's what John Prosser calls Mark Gurman.
Oh, he has a bunch of names for Mark Gurman.
Yeah, I know.
So, the thing is, I don't have a lot of respect for Gurman myself either. Just his arrogance, it's just so annoying to deal with. But no, nonetheless, we have a rumor from Marcus Germuntus, and he is reporting on Tesla, of all companies, actually. So he's decided that no, Apple leaks, that's just not good enough for him anymore. Now we're going to do Tesla leaks. And I thought that was
to be fair, this is also an Apple leak, so
Okay, I guess so, yeah. But nonetheless, something that both you and I have always wanted, and Tabby too.
I'll be so glad my Tesla has this natively, which is that, yes! Teslas are adding CarPlay! Woohoo! Let's celebrate!
Finally! Screw it, Google Maps! Oh! It'll be so good to use Apple Maps on a Tesla.
If I actually like that song Celebration by Kool and the Gang, and this wasn't YouTube, I would play that song, but I don't like that song, and that's copyrighted anyway, so...
Oh, it is so good to hear that. No, I am not setting up my iCloud thing because I am not going to use this computer. I am simply setting it up to sell it. Alright, iMac number 2 that's been updated.
Congratulations, Alpha.
Alright, 2 down, 2 to go. So, but
you're 50% done.
No, this has been needed for too long. Because my number one complaint with Tesla's infotainment, I hate Google Maps, and that's what they use.
But now we have the option to use Apple Maps.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll now be able to access Apple Podcasts natively on the display.
Yeah.
Which, I can check iMessage natively on the display.
That'll be even more awesome. And by the way, just as an unrelated side tangent, I did check about putting this podcast on Apple Podcasts, and the reason why I haven't done it is because I actually have to pay for that.
Really? Because I don't have to pay for mine.
Yeah, no, I have to pay for mine, so yeah.
Odd.
Yeah, but that's just a little side tangent I wanted to mention, because yes, the show, even though we talk mostly about Apple, it's not available on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that's weird. But, no, dude. What sucks is that this is a rumor. Which means it could be fake. It could not be happening. That's the one thing that sucks.
But I mean, still, that's pretty... Did Marcus Graventus also say that Android Auto is rumored?
I've only heard just Apple CarPlay.
Well, if Apple CarPlay is rumored, then Android Auto is likely in the works too. But I mean, yeah, either way, this is going to be...
Well, Lucid, for example, Lucid only has CarPlay. Lucid does not support Android Auto.
Android Auto still has phone integration, so it should still be offered.
One would
that's
think.
screwing over Android users.
Yeah, but no, like Lucid's, for example, they only offer CarPlay. They don't do Android Auto. And I guess not enough Android users have made a big enough stink about it, though. In fairness, I think the most likely person to buy a Lucid would be the same person who buys everything Apple to begin with, because in terms of company image, both Apple and Lucid have very similar behaviors, and as a result, I kind of expect the typical Lucid driver to use an iPhone.
That is fair.
I'm not saying all Lucid drivers do, and I can understand the frustration of maybe potentially wanting Android Auto, but I'm just saying, with how the company generally behaves and generally markets themselves, they have a lot of Apple characteristics, and as a result, I would think that the most person likely to drive Lucid would be an iPhone user. But in terms of Tesla, though, I know plenty of drivers, Tesla drivers, that use Android too. In fact, the guy I rented the Tesla from, if I'm not mistaken, I think he actually used an Android phone. So. But I mean, it's kind of like the same deal with how I feel about GM's infotainment system, because GM's new infotainment system, particularly in their EVs, while no, it does not support Android Auto, you still have all of Google services built in.
Is it like so? It's just like Teslas and Lucids.
Well, Lucid's different. I'm not 100% certain on how Lucid does media and that type of stuff. I'm sure they use Google Maps because, well, you'd be stupid not to. But no, I digress. The thing with like GM's infotainment system is because there's already so many Google services integrated, like Google Maps, YouTube Music, that type of stuff. It's like those are the same apps you use on your Android phone already, so it's not like it's that big of a deal. Oh, and Spotify too. So, and yeah, Tesla's infotainment, it uses Google Maps. It is legit Google Maps. And they offer Spotify. I'm sure they have YouTube Music built in. I mean, they offer Apple Music too. Thankfully, GM's infotainment system doesn't even offer that. But no, my complaint with GM's infotainment was, even though sure it had all of Google's services, so you don't necessarily need Android Auto, my complaint was it removed my ability to use my Apple services with the car. I had no access to Apple Maps. I had no access to Apple Music even. I had no access to Apple Podcast. I had no access to my text messages. That was my problem with it.
Which will be the good news of Tesla fixing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's infuriated me how two brands in particular, Tesla and Rivian, they just refuse to do it because they think, oh, they can do software better. But it's like, the point isn't who has the best software in the car. The point is, let me access my phone through the car. That's what I want to do. I don't care how good your software is to do all of these things in the car. I want to access my phone. And the best way to do that is through Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So that has always been my complaint, and I am grateful that at least at this point Tesla is considering it.
If the rumor is true.
If the rumor is true, yes. And it's like, you can hack CarPlay onto a Tesla, though you just void your warranty in the process. That's all. But no, it would be so nice if we could actually use our Apple services in the car, because I know plenty of Tesla drivers that actually do want CarPlay. Even though, yes,
Same.
Tesla, I'll say it, Tesla legit has the best software in any car. Even though it's so heavily feature-packed and you might think it's intimidating at first that you have to do everything in the screen, the thing is, it is so intuitively laid out, and you're not really jumping through so many menus to access all of this stuff.
Which is intuitive. And that's one of the key parts of software, but they just got to add the other one of integration to your phone, which we've already gone to our episodes.
Because, I guess the big thing is that makes good software is you need to be able to lay out everything, that you can see everything clearly, and not bury things within menus upon menus upon menus. It's a constant complaint I have with Porsche in particular. There's a few other products out there that I can think of. Lucid's a bit guilty of this too. And older GM systems are a little guilty of this too, even though it's fairly laid out. The reason why I say it's anyone can figure out GM's infotainment system is because they don't have a lot of features in their older systems in particular. But even then, a lot of GM infotainment systems, something that drives me nuts is to control like a basic lock setting. you first have to open settings, which is a menu. You just have to then scroll down to vehicle. So you're now that's 2 presses. Locks. And then you have to select your lock function, which is another menu in and of itself. And yet the only options you can do are like turn on and turn off. That's 4 menus you got to go in to change a simple lock setting. Versus Tesla, you tap the car menu to open up the whole panel, and usually for locks, that's the first page that opens up. It's basic car functions and controls to access quickly. And oh, boom, it's right there.
Exactly, but shall we go ahead and move on to our next topic?
It's our last one, actually. So
yeah, our last one, which Alpha added, which is that Volkswagen is rumored to have supercharger access on November 18th, which is really cool.
Yeah. And Tabby's not going to get to appreciate that because they no longer have the ID4.
What happened? Or wait a second, like what? Oh right, yeah, I forgot.
The lease ended.
Oh yeah, I don't talk to Tabby that much anymore, so I forgot.
Yeah. But no, yeah, the lease ended on the ID4, so they don't have that anymore. And I was kind of hoping that they'd get another one because the new one finally fixed the software. Because if there's one thing we know about Tabby, he cannot stand bad software. And that was the one thing I warned him about the ID4 back when they were about to lease it. It was notorious for having horrible software. It was really bad. But they finally fixed it with the 2025 model year. And so if they would have leased that again, then maybe he wouldn't have hated it so much. But nope, they have no more ID4. Instead, his mom strangely went back to gas.
Oh, right. His mom drives like a Jetta, I think.
Yeah, it's a Jetta. I mean, on one hand, I'm grateful that it's a sedan and not a crossover.
Yeah, same.
So, I'm not going to complain too much. She went back to a sedan, at least. And as of right now, Volkswagen does not sell any sedans here in the U.S. No. Volkswagen does not sell any electric sedans in the U.S. Sadly, the ID7 is only available in Europe, and that bothers me to no end.
Makes sense.
So...
But Americans are generally drive 2 big cars, even though they act like it's the only SUVs are the only way to go. In fact, one of my grandma's neighbors who's getting older also she drives a 2018 Toyota Camry and she wants to get a new car, and people are telling her she should get an SUV, but at the same time she likes her sedan. So
I mean, I've learned this when I drove the loaners for about a month. I missed my car so much. Not just because, it's my car. Obviously, I'm going to miss driving my own car for obvious reasons. But even though I was driving two different crossovers, I drove a brand new Acadia. Had a couple thousand miles on it, but nonetheless, it was a brand new Acadia with newer tech. And that should satisfy the tech enthusiast in me. But I could not stand driving that thing. I hated driving it every second of it. It did not corner well because it's a big crossover. I had a hard time getting... I don't understand how people tell me, crossovers, they're so easy to get in and out of. No, they are not. When I have to literally jump... No, not hop, not ship. I have to literally jump to get into the seat of the car. You cannot tell me that is an easy car to get in and out of.
Exactly. And everybody thinks they're easier to get in and out of when they're not. So people should
Granted,
just go.
yes, I'm short, but the thing is, I'm not that short. And a lot of these cars, like the Acadia in particular, that's marketed to moms.
5'8" is awfully tall for American women. I mean, it's not awfully tall, but that is tall for American women.
Most moms that I know are usually just a hair shorter than me.
The average
And
American
if I
female
struggle
height
to
is
get in and out of that
5'4".
thing, how are these moms supposed to get in and out of this thing? Again, I literally have to jump.
There's only, for reference, I think in my high school class in my grade, I think there's only 3, maybe 4 girls that are taller than you.
Wow. But no, it's just I personally don't understand how people say they're easy to get in and out of, because this was the exact case with the Acadia, obviously, because they sized that thing actually very similarly to our Yukon. At least our Yukon has a step.
That is good.
The Yukon at least has a step. But the Acadia, despite being the exact same size, even had the exact same floor height, no step. So, but no, I did not enjoy driving these crossovers at all.
They just are so horrible to drive.
Yeah, and even though I was pleasantly surprised by the Chevy Trax, which it is technically a crossover, it has a lot more ground clearance than your typical hatchback. But even though I was impressed with that, it still didn't match my sedan.
No, because one of my friends, he used to drive an F-150, but that one broke. So his mom just recently got a 2012 Chevy. What's their super compact car? I can't remember the name of it.
Is it the Cruze or the Malibu?
No, it's different. It's smaller than that even.
Oh, the super compact one, Trailblazer. That's what it is.
Maybe it was some weird kind of Chevy sedan. Like, I don't even know if it was a Trailblazer.
What year was it again?
2012.
Oh, 2012. I was thinking brand new. There's a bunch of options. My best guess is the Sonic.
Yes, it's a Chevy Sonic.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Chevy. Yeah, and he says that he loves driving that thing around because it's small. It's got great handling.
Yeah.
and even my dad still prefers driving sedans over SUVs any day. And he injured his back playing basketball years ago, and he's never fully recovered from that. But even he still prefers sedans.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it for, I guess, if you're tall and you have back problems, then maybe a crossover makes it for getting in and out easy, I guess. But for me, what I do, I fall into the seat. And that is just fine for me.
Yeah, that's not bad. And I mean, and mind you, the average American male height is 5'9", so...
That still makes me below average.
and my dad is 6'1" for reference, and he even still prefers driving sedans. So,
well, take my friend Talon for example. His first 2 cars were trucks. His first one was a Ford Ranger, 2000 Ford Ranger. He then upped in size to an F-150, and he's like, "I love my big trucks. I love my big trucks." Until finally, he got a 2012 Ford Fusion because he was really tired of paying for gas in his F-150, and it was constantly breaking down on him throughout the entirety of winter. I have no idea how much money he spent trying to get that thing fixed. But, no, when he got his 2012 Ford Fusion, he's like, "Dude, I get it now. I get the sedan life, and I love it so much.
Yeah, because back before I had my driver's license, I didn't mind necessarily SUVs, but now that I have a driver's license, I hate SUVs because I've driven them. So now I know why they're so bad to drive, because they have so hard to handle. And the thing is that they just don't. We've gone to this in so many more episodes. We're out of topic, so we can do whatever we want. No,
Yeah.
Now kind of, but the problem is that because most of the time, because SUVs don't have trunks, you're most of the time going to be folding down the back rows to use as a trunk anyway. So, and I mean, it's a little bit more trunk space, but not that much more. And so you're effectively getting the same amount of seats anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just in a bigger vehicle, it's harder to handle, which is why even in my family, we are not going to, unless I need like a big truck for something, unless I need, I might get like a mid-sized pickup, but there will be no SUVs or minivans in my family unless my family grows to be more than 5 when I grow up. Which is not the case with most American families, especially when you consider divorced parents.
Yeah. I mean, if I have more than 2 kids, I might consider a minivan, just because when you have 3 kids on a bench seat, oh, does that make long drives fun?
I mean, yeah, but it would just be so... I mean, I'm an only child, so I don't understand. I wouldn't necessarily get it.
Yeah. No, it's... When you put all 3 kids next to each other, they're going to start squabbling, and they're going to start misbehaving, and obviously it's tight. So, is it doable? Yes, absolutely, but I'd only do that for, like, short drives. If I ever do long road trips, though, I might want to consider, like, a minivan, at least. If I have more than 2 kids.
That. Yeah, I get that, but I don't even know if we'll have more than 2 kids, so...
Well, I gotta find a girlfriend first, which Tabby's already one step ahead of me on.
Yeah, same. Yes. I'm only 17, so I still got time left, but yeah, I gotta work on that first before...
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm in my 20s. I'm in my 20s and I still don't have a girlfriend.
I still haven't had a girlfriend yet, and I have never even had a girlfriend, and I'm 17. Over 17 and a half for reference.
Yep.
And yes, I have tried.
Drives me nuts how I lost two of them. But yeah, I digress. Enough with the girlfriend stuff.
Yeah, that's too personal.
Yeah, I digress. No, I cannot stand these crossovers. We've gone off on this rant for too long. I mean, the only other thing left that people will try to tell me is, oh, safety, you're in a bigger vehicle. Except,
no,
I'm learning more
they have
and more.
higher centers.
Yeah, exactly. Higher center of gravity, so you're more likely to roll over in a crossover than you are a sedan. And then, how about pedestrian safety?
Here's the issue with big vehicles. You always give bigger vehicles extra room because they can't stop in time.
Yes.
And...
I mean, why do you think dump trucks have all of these stickers that say, don't get close to me?
Yeah, it's because they can't stop in time for certain those situations. So there's a reason why bigger vehicles can't stop in time. In fact, on 6-lane interstates, this is a hot take. I think they should have lane restrictions for crossovers and SUVs and pickups. If it's 6 lanes or more, and just have, and to where sedans and sports cars can go use all the lanes, SUVs, pickups, and pickups and crossovers can use and minivans can use the right to, and vans can use the right to, and then hazmats, big semis and trailers, they gotta stay in the right lane.
Yeah.
And oversized loads, obviously. Well, oversized loads are a bit of a different situation, but yeah.
Yeah, I find it hilarious how back when I was younger, part of me always wanted the family to own a crossover because I knew a minivan was so far-fetched. Mom and Dad would never do it. And I remember being so excited the day we picked up the Yukon. Well, for one, it was a Denali, meaning it was it was an actual luxury vehicle, for one, even though by modern standards it really does not feel all that luxury. But no, we actually picked up a luxury GMC Denali for the first time. But also, that was the first time we actually had a vehicle like that, a vehicle with 3 rows seating and a crossover SUV trunk. And I thought it was pretty cool, considering that for basically before we got that, it's literally always been sedans and a pickup truck. Could argue we had the one coupe with the Saturn Ion, but considering it had suicide doors, I'm not entirely sure if it was a coupe. I don't know where that gets rubbed in.
My family doesn't really drive GM, so I have no idea what a Saturn Ion even is. I mean, I know what it is, but
yeah, I'll look it up.
I'll look it up.
When I mentioned a vehicle with the center gauge cluster, like the Tesla, that is always the go-to.
Okay, that's a sedan.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Ion is typically a sedan, but you can get it in a coupe-ish like configuration where the rear doors open backwards, and that's the one we have.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandma used to drive one around for quite a long time until they got crossovers because of my grandpa's back. And then we picked up that Ion from her. And when my dad wasn't commuting in the truck, that was his commuter car, actually. Kind of miss it. It was probably the quirkiest car we've ever had.
Yeah, we haven't really had any quirky. Screw that. Yes, we have had plenty of quirky cars in my family.
So, but yeah, I remember being so excited for picking up the Yukon because it was like our first. It was something different from a truck and a sedan. But just over the years of driving that and owning my own cars, I realized why we've had sedans for the longest time. And
yeah, same. There's a reason why sedans ultimately work, and there's a reason why. And honestly, at this point, SUVs, they are boring. There's a reason why SUVs are soccer mom cars.
Yeah.
And it's not because soccer moms are cool. And it's not because they're utilitarian. The SUVs.
Yeah. I'd argue half the time they're actually worse in terms of practicality.
Yeah.
Like they'll actually be worse than a sedan.
And even if they are, and even if you need bigger vehicles, that's what station wagons and minivans are for.
Yeah.
But also, another big point is that, I don't know about you, but it seems like people don't do carpooling quite as much anymore as they did in the previous millennium.
I think it kind of had something to do with the pandemic. The pandemic made people feel a lot less closer. And
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But I mean, yeah, it just feels like people don't do. Again, I'm an only child and I never did any sports or anything, so I wouldn't necessarily know. I wouldn't necessarily know that, but occasionally I would ride with one of my friends back before I had a license and my parents couldn't pick me up. So occasionally, so I guess I technically would do some carpooling.
Yeah, we used to do carpooling with our neighbors all the time, actually.
Yeah, I never, yeah, because I live kind of in the sticks. As a result, me and the other people in my school we were kind of more spread apart. So
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we carpooled with our neighbors for 2 years, I think, and then it just got oh yeah. The problem was none of our cars had enough seats to fit everyone who needed to come, so we had to stop carpooling. But no, our neighbor took us to and well, it was off and on between my mom and their mom. Their mom drove a 2004 Honda Odyssey at the time, I think, which I thought was the coolest thing ever because it was a minivan.
that makes sense. I'm guessing. Did your neighbors eventually have another kid that needed to start going to school?
Yeah. So the problem was it was me and my sister. Our neighbor had. It was initially two kids that we'd also bring with. So because our seating, because we drove sedans, they're 5-seater sedans. Well, no, we had the Park Avenue at the time, and that was a 6-seater. But the problem is, it's basically a bench in front, bench in the rear, and I don't know if my mom wanted to deal with 5 kids in the car in a sedan, even though technically we had the room, we had a 6-seater sedan. It's just you gotta. The problem was I was underage in terms of sitting up front, and so was the neighbor. The eldest neighbor kid at the time. So you got five kids, none of them old enough to sit up front in a sedan. It got a little sketchy. So
Yeah,
that was the ultimate reason why we stopped, because our neighbor kid had three. No, our neighbors had 3 kids.
Do you have 3, or do you? Is there a law in Michigan about how old you have to be in order to sit in the front seat, or is it just?
I believe, I think the thing is, it might have changed since then, but it used to be you had to be 12 years of age to sit in the front seat.
Yeah, my parents. I don't know what it is in my state, but but I started sitting in the front seat when I was 10 years old. Although it took my mom quite a lot of convincing in order to for her to start letting me sit in the front seat, and my grandma didn't. And I didn't ask my grandma until I was almost 11 to sit in the front seat. But for reference, when I was 10, when I started sitting in the front seat, I was already, I think, 5'3" or 5'4". So
Yeah.
there
No,
was plenty. So it's really more of a size thing.
yeah. I mean, I used to be tall for my age back when I was 10 and 11, which I know. The reason why I complain about being short is because I actually used to be tall for my age. I'm not even joking. Which is why I complain so much of being short now. But no, I used to be tall for my age, so it was relatively okay that I sat in the front seat at the time. But as long as it was just me. But the problem was none of the other kids were old enough to sit up front, and the next eldest was not my mom's, and as a result, no, we just stopped carpooling from that. But no, we used to carpool getting to and from school.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm just not big. But yeah, it just seems like people don't car. But even when I have been carpooling, it's usually just me, just me. That it was usually just me, the other kid, and then the driver of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even necessary. So it's not even that necessary. So it's not. So it's not even enough people to warrant a minivan.
Yeah. I also wonder, though, if it has something to do with, I mean, I don't live in the Southeast, and it's been a little over a year since I've been in the Southeast, but at least here in the Midwest, people are just not that friendly towards each other up here.
I mean, it makes I mean, yeah, that makes sense because I haven't been. Because I mean, down here where I live, it's okay. I mean, I'm sure people. I mean, I don't know if people do it or not because again, I don't really know many little kids, and I'm an only child, so I've never done sports or anything. But I know. Oftentimes, like the sports teams at my high school, like the football team, like oftentimes the older football players will take the younger ones home because they don't have their licenses yet. So
Yeah.
that type of thing is very common.
Well, and older football players, they just got their license and they want to express it, assuming that they actually, well, want to drive, which is a bit of a problem this day and age.
Yeah. Most of the time, kids that do sports generally do get their licenses. Or,
But I also wonder, maybe
it.
this is another contributing factor to why there's a decline in 16-year-olds or just teenagers wanting to drive. Because their options for driving actual good and fun cars is declining.
Yeah, that's another problem. So you really only have to. So most of the kids that drive to school, to my school at least, are involved in some sort of clubs or anything where it's just easier.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I mean, yes, I did want to get my license, but I also had to get my license when I did because my problem was that my mom, because she gets quote unquote panic attacks when she drives, my mom basically refuses to drive, and my dad, and so as a result, my dad and my grandma, she can't always drive either, obviously, and so my dad was effectively doing all the driving for the house, most of the driving for the family, and he couldn't obviously do that either, and of course, towards the end of me being 15, he moved out for reasons that, well, Alpha doesn't even entirely know.
No.
But as a result, I had very few ways to leave the house.
Yeah.
To get from point A to point B before I got my license. So I was forced. So I wasn't forced to get my license, but I basically had to if I didn't want to ride the school bus, which you do not want to ride the school bus because a lot of times, especially in high school, is a big problem is that, first of all, I don't want to be lectured by an adult how to behave if I don't have to. I just don't want to do that. But also another big problem is that a lot of times kids will vape on buses.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's a growing problem.
Yeah, because of the growing e-cigarette epidemic.
I hate those things so much, but
yeah,
for me, I was like truly, really, really excited to learn to drive.
Same.
I enjoy doing it so much.
I mean, same, because I mean, it's still the thrill of having a driver's license has opened up so many opportunities for me that I didn't even think were even considered before.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking after the show tonight, I realized I forgot to run to Walmart to, get some bread for sandwiches for lunch tomorrow, so I think I might do that after the show tonight. But, no, Ivy, just the general freedom you get, I mean, even before turning 18, even before becoming a legal adult, just, you want to go do something, of course, with your parents' permission, you are not at the mercy of their schedule to get you there.
Yeah, which is why we Americans drive our own cars.
Yeah. I love not being at the mercy of anybody's schedule for transportation. Which is really helpful when I'm trying to make appointments. So I don't have to badger Mom all the time. Mom, I need to go. Come on. Just, no, I don't have to badger her anymore. I can go when I need to go.
Exactly. exactly, because that's just so exactly because I mean it is, and I mean yeah, because I mean parents aren't the most reliable. I think because I grew up with the hardship of only having one parent that really drove. As a
Yeah.
result, as a result I understood the importance of the really understood the importance of freedom and driving my car. But especially kids that grow up with both parents able to drive, and especially if they have step parents able to drive, then it's not quite as it just doesn't matter quite as much.
Yeah. And then the other thing too, I mean, I did it last year. I drove 1,000 miles to North Carolina and nobody was able to stop me.
Yeah,
I waited on nobody but my own time. And
exactly.
then
That's
of course, Talon and I did the road trip to the DC area to visit Tabby. And nobody stopped us.
Yeah, that's the beauty of traveling is that no driving your own car is that nobody stops you. You're your own priority. The only thing stopping you from
Unless the police beg to differ.
yeah, but the only other thing the only other thing that's stopping you is girls taking forever to get ready for dates,
Yes, okay, fair enough.
or my mom taking forever to get ready to go to my grandmother's house. Definitely
Or
not
since
what.
you or since you can't relate to this, sisters not getting their butts moving.
Oh yes, they're in U.S. history today because I have that class right now. We were learning about this is going to be a bit controversial, but we were learning about the civil rights movement, and one of the things we learned. And my teacher showed us an old news clip of how the CBS News reporter said that if women were in the military, that they could effectively fight quite as effectively because half the unit would be ready on time. And
Oh god.
I know this is inappropriate. This is gonna sound sexist, but it's so true though.
Gotta get that makeup on.
Yeah, you really need makeup in order to learn. There's a reason why my gym coach in middle school said, "Girls, these boys aren't worth getting all fixed up for." When he was talking about spending too much time in the locker, and it's not because we were bad boys.
No.
It's because they just didn't need makeup.
I mean, I will say this. I have no interest in dating any girls that insist that they need to have makeup on to look pretty.
Yeah, I understand where we're coming from.
So, I will say that much. You don't need makeup to look pretty.
All you need to do is just shower every day and wear nice clothes. That's it.
Yep. Just shower, don't smell bad. That's
Which,
the
if you
big
shower
one.
every day, that usually takes care of that.
Yeah.
Because I've actually gone.
It drives me nuts
actually
every time I go to get my hair cut. And they all, because I have longer hair, they ask, "Oh, do you want to put any product in?" I'm like, "No. Keep it natural. I don't need any of this product to make myself look better." What I'm just trying to say is I believe in natural beauty.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll put product in my hair just to straighten it out if I need to, but I don't even do that quite as often anymore, just because just because it gets my brush all sticky. So I don't even do that. I don't even do that quite as much. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
So,
But I mean, I've even. This is a bit embarrassing to admit, but there's actually been some days where I've forgotten to put deodorant on, but because I take showers every day.
oh, don't worry.
No
You don't
one
need to
know-
feel embarrassed by that.
No one noticed.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I went 3 days without deodorant and just managed to, and it was just because, and the only reason I managed that was because I took showers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have to have 2 sticks at all times. One here at the house and one at the shop.
Oh yeah, because of the work you do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the time I just stand there, but there's the occasion where I do get a little workout. And when you're bending over 180 degrees and then you're twisting your body another 90 degrees at the same time and you're trying to reach this one screw that you can't see because it's being blocked by a Oh, thank God that machine is finally back together. Oh,
that sounds as insane. That sounds like as intensive a workout as football players what they do.
Yeah, so for reference, we were changing out the coolant of our most complicated machine last week and into this week, actually. And the problem is we have to disassemble the tray that catches the chips and the coolant because the coolant reservoir is completely... It's right at the bottom. So we had to do some disassembly because someone in their infinite wisdom decided, we're going to literally screw shrouding and shielding. We're going to literally screw this thing to the bottom instead of designing a funnel system allowing you to just roll it out freely. No, you literally have to unscrew it. And they put screws in the worst places ever, where you're literally bending... I'll do the best I can to demonstrate it. I'll see what the camera is able to pick up. But you are literally bending 180 degrees this way, then you got to turn another 90, and you're stretching underneath.
That hurts my back a lot to do that, because back when I used to be fat.
I was so sore. Trying to do that. I came home, I lied down on the couch, and I said, I am not moving until the next day. I hurt that bad. And I'm supposedly young. I should not have these back problems, but...
Did you... Yeah, you should... That means it's bad design. Did you have to sleep on the couch that night?
No, I made it upstairs.
I feel.
But even though I know wood needs to get done, it needs to be hauled from the front yard to the smokehouse. But even though I knew that needed... I'm like, no. I hurt way too much. I'm not doing any more exercise today.
That's perfectly valid, but yeah, that's going on. What else?
Yeah, I can't seem to stop hurting myself for the past week because I don't know if this is caught, but yeah, you want to look at my thumbs?
Oh, well, look at my hands because of the cold weather. I mean, it's not cold these days. I mean, today it's not cold, and tomorrow. And this weekend's actually going to get warm as...
Yeah. Do you see these marks?
Yep.
Lost a fight with a bandsaw. I'll just say that much.
Oh, because I have eczema, but it's not quite as bad as yours, but that causes my skin to crack whenever it gets really cold, which it did around a week ago in my area.
Yeah.
And even even though today's high was 64 degrees and it's going to get up to 70 over the weekend, it still did not... My skin still does not like that.
Yeah, the air hasn't completely dried out here yet. It's still a little humid, so it's not affecting me too much just yet. But once that humidity completely drops, is it going to get nasty?
Yeah, but by the way, do you miss 64-degree highs?
Very much. I mean, at this point... Stop it! I am not connecting to my 16 Pro Max microphone. I've told you this 5 times already. Stop it. That is so annoying. But, what was the question again? I lost my train of thought.
I lost it too.
Darn it.
I mean, I did...
weather. 64 degree weather. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, I do miss it, even though I haven't been outside that much, and because I have the luxurious feature of remote start, I get in a warm car every morning, and when I leave. I will say, though, last weekend, we did have snow permanently stick to the ground.
We had some too. I'm not even
The whole
joking.
country's in a deep freeze at the moment.
I'm not, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Although the lows are actually like not in the 30s, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised that everywhere is getting similar weather to here, which is not typical. I'm actually surprised that everywhere else is basically getting the same weather as up here. So, honestly, the weather that you're all experiencing is completely normal this time of year for us. Although I'm surprised that actually, usually the snow starts sticking to the ground in late October, and it didn't really do it until mid-November this year. So that's a bit unusual, but no, if you're getting snow sticking, no, that's typical weather here around this time of year.
Yeah, I figured.
So
yeah, just at least you get to have a white Christmas every year. Where I've only had one very barely white Christmas and then one actual white Christmas.
2023 was a brown Christmas for us.
Yeah, you've only had one.
That was unusual.
I have brown Christmases almost every year. There's a reason why we really there's a reason why one of the hardest things about living down south is reading all this literature about winter and how it promotes snow and all that stuff. And then hearing all these Christmas songs about snow and then finding out, oh, I live down Dixie. Well, I live down Dixie. I don't get that.
Yep.
Well, I didn't know.
Maybe you should try it sometime. Try coming up here for a Christmas.
Oh, I think I'll pass.
You don't want to fulfill the tales of a White Christmas?
I have seen a White Christmas before. We had one down here.
Okay.
And also, I mean, that's going to be a little bit difficult to drive.
And guess what the computer just did again?
It switched to your iPhone 16 Pro Max microphone.
Stop it! Do not make me power off my phone! Oh my goodness, this is infuriating.
I understand that very much.
iMac camera, mic. What does it say? Input device, iMac mic. Just leave it. It's fine. Oh, that is
just like how sedans are fine for people, but
yes. Tying it back to that.
Yeah, that smells a little bit like Windows, but
yeah,
like some
why settle for worse when better, especially these days, is both cheaper and just plain better?
Yeah, I don't know.
Though, yeah, it does make me wonder, is the reason why a lot of youths don't want to drive because we have terrible cars to... Oh my gosh, stop it.
Alpha, your audio is cutting you.
Yeah, I'm turning off Bluetooth.
I'll see this in post, but yeah, I wonder... I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but it's also that young people just don't have quite the same desire to go everywhere.
I mean, when the world's at your fingertips these days.
Yep.
And I'm
just
sorry.
Like that Rascal Flatts song.
Even though I'm guilty for Street View road tripping, I'll admit that. I still prefer getting in my car and going to real places than just sitting on Google Street View.
Exactly. There's a reason why I don't do Street View for long. And there's a reason why I'm going places like tomorrow I'm going to a play. All right, well, as always, thank you all for tuning into another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Ted Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we're saying peace out for now, and we hope to see you all in the next episode. Take care, everyone.